Hey everyone, welcome back to Brackett's Shop and Farm. We're back on the Massey 383. As you see, we got it back together. We hooked up the brake line and the hydraulic lines. We're going to leave the floor pans off. We're going to go up underneath here and put the hydraulic filter back on. And we got this side. We got the pipe back on. You see here, back on the pump. So I'm going to leave. I'm just going to get some battery cables and hook up to this once we get to that point. That way, in case I've got to split it again, and it'll be less have to take off. But hopefully, it's fixed this time. So here's the cover we've got. Holds the filter. This goes up like that and has this spring and a nut right here. It goes on the bottom of that. Then it has this little keeper, so it can't go off. The only other thing we got to put on is this standpipe that goes on top. Right over here, we can actually probably go ahead and set it in there. So I believe it goes like that right there. We're getting close to being able to, once I put the filter back on it, start dumping the fluid back in it, and I think I'll have it far enough where we can, I'm not worried about bleeding the brakes or anything. I'm not going to drive it. I just want to get the stuff back together, be able to go over and test the hydraulics and see if I'm getting the correct pressure out of this test port right here. So let me grab the filter and stuff and we'll put it on. All right, welcome back everyone. We're underneath the rear end here, going to put this hydraulic filter. Now, this is the filter for the lift pump, the 3-point. So if you ever need to change that, this is what the filter looks like. Get this little standpipe that just goes. We'll put it right up in there like that. And then it's got this spring. Spring goes next. And here it's got this nut. Once you get that started, I believe that's a 14 millimeter. Yep, it takes a 14 millimeter. All that spring does is just keep pressure on that filter up against the housing. So, it don't take a whole lot of pressure. You don't have to bottom it out. It's got pretty good pressure on it. So then what you'll see is that has a hole in it. What this thing does is it has this little keeper right here. Hole right there. You put this keeper in there, and that's what keeps it. It's kind of like a safety. That way it can't fall off. Well, that thing works just like that right there, and then it just dangles. And then we got our gasket right here. Sure to clean everything up. It's got 3 bolts. I'll just get one and get it up there where it goes and start one. If you got an old Massey and hadn't changed this, it's probably a good thing. You need to, it's the hardest part's draining the oil. It's not too bad at all. It's just, it can be messy. But it's not a bad idea to do it if you've not done it. Change your fluid. 3.3 point. There we go. I believe that's 13. Yes, 13 millimeter. So it just don't have to be real tight. I mean, it's you start seeing that gasket squeeze. Just try to go around it and make it even torque. Be careful, you'll squeeze it too much and squeeze the gasket plumb out of there. So just be careful with it. Use a little common sense. All right, guys. We'll be back on the next project. I'm gonna double check, but I think we're about ready to start pouring oil in it. So we'll see you here in a few. Hey everyone, we're back. So I think we're ready to start filling it full of hydraulic fluid. The capacity on this tractor shows around 8.5 to 9 gallons. I think 8.7 is what the actual book says, but so if you look, I had this partial. It's probably about 4 gallon in this, and then I've got another 5 gallon bucket that we're gonna pour in here. So this tractor shares the hydraulic fluid down in the rear end, so it gets all of its hydraulic fluid from the same place. So this basically all the fluid comes from one spot here. There is no other reservoir or anything that it comes from. So like I said, this is about quite right at 9 gallon what there's going to be in it. Or so I think I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure I have all the hydraulic lines hooked up and what lines I have to have. The only thing I have to do is get a battery, the jumper cable, and just try to get that out. So hopefully we can fire this thing up and see what kind of pressure she has. That's always a good thing. I don't see any fluid running in the floor, so hopefully I got all my bolts put back in. This thing has like 2 different drain plugs, so I think I got everything in. So that's good. So we get done with this project. If everything checks out good here, then I'll put the side plates on it, the footsteps and everything, and tidy up the wires and get them all back nice. Right now I'm just getting it together to where it'll hopefully be able to get it to where I can crank it and get the hydraulics activated and put the pressure gauge on it. And that'll tell me what pressure I have coming out of the PTO clutch pack. Before I had about 60 psi, which is nowhere near enough for it to lock up. So we're hopeful that it's higher this time. If not, we'll figure it out. I've got an idea if it's not, because I'm pretty confident that the clutch pack, everything in the clutch pack's right. Maybe I'm having an issue with this actuating valve if that's not it, but I'm gonna hope and pray that that was the issue. All right. So there's our hydraulic oil. Let's that right there so nothing gets down in there. Come right back here and I'll show you all where that dipstick was located. Always try to wipe it off the first time. Stick it down in there. I personally do not screw it down on. I'll stick it down in there for the threads, but if you can see that it's about halfway right there between the two dots. So that's plenty good enough right now. Once we get everything actuated, the valves and everything, get the lines back in there. I know I'll have to put some in there, but to start off, that'll be good for right now. So let me get the gauge and everything set up, and we'll get back with you. All right, so we're back. I got the gauge. I think I showed y'all this the other day. This is the gauge I made. It's a 0 to 400 psi, so that's well within the range to be able to check this. It's just a 3/8 hose with a 9-degree JIC fitting. Nothing special, but I wound up and put, I don't know if y'all can see that, but fitting right here. I think I'll go ahead and have it loose. It's the caps what I'm going to keep on that, and there's just a JIC fitting, 3/8 JIC. And I'm going to screw that on. It's right underneath this valve right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but we're just going to. I was able to go to my local Napa and get the fittings that would work. So glad for that. All right, guys, we're back. You look at this contraction I got set up right here. Apparently has 2 batteries. Apparently both of those have lost charge from setting. So I wound up and got my booster turned on here. So hopefully this will give it enough get up and go to crank the old 383. So I got my heavy duty jumper cables out and them all rigged up there. Look at them great connections right there. So I did put my homemade hydraulic gauge here. You can see it's 0 to 400. So I did just verify in the book. Take y'all over there and show you. That for the independent power takeoff pressure at 1200 to 1250 RPM for single speed PTO, which is what mine is, single speed, 15.5 to 19 bar or 225 to 275 foot-pounds per inch squared. So anywhere right in there. So we're looking for 225 to 275 at 1200 RPM. We're going to be able to find out real fast if that fixed the issue, or because, like I said, mine was about 60 or 65 before I took it out. It just was not locking up the clutch pack. So we'll know here real fast whether or not that fixed the issue or we have another issue. So let's go set up here. Let's see if it'll crank first. I guess that's the main thing. If it won't crank, we'll have to troubleshoot. So remember your neutral safety switches. So, all right. So as you zoom out the gauge there, it's 0 PSI. Let me run the rest of the hydraulics 3-point. Make sure that's all doing good. I'll show you guys that. That's good. All that's working out. Yeah. See what happens. Yeah. Sweet. Well, the gauge says it's working. Let's see if actual PTO says it's working. All right. Well, I think she's working right. Hey guys, I'm back. I just wanted to show y'all something here real fast. I was putting this bracket right here on. If you can see this bolt right here, if you pull that bolt, it does leak fluid. So this bracket, this is part of the footstep. So after we tested the PTO and confirmed that we think it's right, uh, I started putting on some of the brackets. But I almost wanted to let y'all know, if you pull that bolt right there, it's held by that bolt and this bolt right here. Both of those go in this side cover. But that bolt right there has fluid, so you need to have everything ready before you pull it. If not, you'll have a bigger mess than I do. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, everybody, we're back. We're going to try to put this footstep on here. I got this back bracket on. I'll give y'all a tip I try to do. I take all stuff apart. A lot of this, if I can, I'll just screw the bolts back in. You ain't got to go far, but that way you keep up with them. It's a lot easier to keep up with when you go to reinstall it, especially if it's been tore down for more than a few days. You're liable to forget. So that's just a tip that I try to use. It seems to help me keep everything together a lot easier. So let's see if we can get these bolts out. Yeah, make sure to get your cables, everything up here out of the way. Already hung on something. There we go. Now we're heading in the right direction. Get one started there. One started there. All right. All right. So we got our battery cables here. These bolts right here is what holds the cover on the battery cable. So now we got these square head bolts. Fortunately, I've had this off before, so a lot of these bolts are either replace the nuts or replace the bolt if I needed to. Back when I had it off the first time. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There we go. There we go. All right. So that's pretty much got all the bolts that need to be in there. So let's get us a wrench. Aha. Blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. Oop. These right here, you just want to make sure that nuts, the square drive is down in the frame. Actually, huh. There we go. May have to get an extension. Let me grab an extension real fast. All right. All right. fender down here is a little beat up. I believe they use this tractor down in South Georgia. I'm not sure if it's the sand or what, but it's got some rust issues back here on the fender, but it'll move hay around as long as it runs a baler. Mechanically runs good. I'm not as worried about aesthetics. Which you never know. Maybe I'll fix it one day and tear it back apart and paint it. Who knows? There ain't no telling. We do have that other Massey 253 that we're going to plan on painting, so I don't have a whole lot of experience painting, but I did paint that old 77 Ford once, so we'll learn and get better. Let me 13. All right. Grab our 13 millimeter. All right. Better than factory. So there's basically one side. So it just bolts all in there. Now y'all can see why I wanted to test that before I started putting all that stuff on. I mean, it's not extremely hard, but there's no need in doing more work. So that pretty much wraps up this side. I have my batteries on charge. Brakes and everything's hooked up. The only thing I'll have to do once I get this done, I'm going to gravity feed the brake reservoir with that mineral oil, LHM mineral oil from AGCO. So that seems to work out real good. Just gravity feed them, then you can finish bleeding them. There, the bleeders, actual bleeders are right here. So the bleeders are right here, this hex. You just pump them up and turn those, and that'll bleed it. So it's not too bad. As you can see, as I told you, right here, here's a bolt that I'd stuck in there. And here's a couple bolts that I'd stuck in there. That way it's just easier. That's the way I've always done it. My background's rebuilding machines, so that's an easy way for me to keep up with it. If I can put it back in the casting or wherever, I'll put it back in there and clean them up when I get to that point. But it's just a lot easier to keep the right size, and more importantly, especially on CNCs, if you get a bolt that's 5 millimeters deeper, well, it may bottom out before you actually get it tight. So it's just a good practice, in my opinion, to keep them together. It's easier. You don't have them laying around everywhere, getting kicked, losing washers. It's just, for me, it's a lot easier to do it that way. As you can see on this one right here, this is the bracket for the pipe that goes back, the return here on the pump. It actually, so that's where that little hanger is. But all right, let me get this other side going, and we'll try to get it on tonight. All right, guys, we're back. So we got the left side platform on, so we're over here on the right, and I just put it on, but I wanted to show y'all something to make sure of. Now, right here on the throttle, the foot throttle, make sure that when you adjust this, you go over there and verify that your injection pump is going wide open throttle. If not, if you have to do this, then you're not going to be able to get wide open throttle with the foot. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to push this foot pedal in my hand, and y'all watch the injection pump there. See that spring? See, that's going wide open. It's going against the stop. So you need to make sure if that's not going open all the way, just adjust your throttle cable down there. What I always try to do is keep the adjustment close to where it was I'll leave this nut right here. I'll try to leave it in its position. Then loosen this nut, and this right here just pops off there. So leave this nut right here in its position, loosen this one. Then when you go to take it off, once you take this off, if you use your hand throttle right here, and you pull it down some, then see you got, I get a picture, you got slack right here in your cable. So then you can just move the red protector out, unscrew this, and then just that right there will go through this hole. Then when you go to put it back in, your dead stop will be in the same position, and you should be able to just tighten this up, and it ought to get you, it should be real close, if not perfect. Like on mine, I did not have to adjust it. It was good. I just need to tighten it. That's all I need to do. So there's just a little pointer to save yourself some time going back together.